Family is not an important thing, it is everything. By Michael J. Fox is the best quote that describes my family. Welcome to the podcast. My name is Paris, and in this episode, we're talking about joint families and my experience with them. I'll share my experience along with several of my family members that are a part of my joint family. We'll explore the emotional impact of living in a joint family and how it has shaped our lives. A joint family is a family structure where multiple generations, including parents, children, grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins, live together as a cohesive unit. They share living spaces, resources, and responsibilities, fostering a sense of togetherness and mutual support, typically under one roof. The origin of joint families can be traced back to ancient times and is prevalent in traditional societies across various cultures. It has particularly strong roots in countries like India, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka, where it has been practiced for centuries. The joint family system emphasizes respect for elders, collective decision making, and strong family bonds. It provides a support network for all members, ensuring emotional, financial, and social stability. Growing up in an Indian household, living in a joint family system is a common practice that dates back generations for my family. My grandparents raised my dad in a joint family back in India, and my great grandparents raised my grandfather in a joint family. Even though India wasn't liberated from British rule till my grandfather was 16, this system persists. In fact, I often listen to my grandfather's stories about Gandhi and Indian history as he still lives with us. While my family immigrated to America, they still tried to stay close to our divided family as much as possible, and in 2008, I began to live in a joint family with my grandparents and my uncle's family. As my parents were first generation immigrants from India, my parents had a difficult time in the 2000s settling into the American environment. Thankfully, my grandparents lived with us at the time and took care of me and my sister, while my parents, my uncle, and my aunt were working long hours. Our house was never empty, and I always grew up with my cousins to play with, and my grandparents to watch over me in the afternoons and on break. With a collected amount of resources and support, the adults in our family were able to share responsibilities, focus better on their businesses, and create more opportunities. Even though living with 10 people in one house could feel cramped sometimes, the community, resources, and values that came with the system were priceless. Living in a joint family system, I have developed strong relationships with my cousins to the point where we consider each other siblings, and my aunt and my uncle feel like my second parents. As all the children in the house aged, the reality of living under one roof seemed less likely due to the lack of bedrooms in most American homes. And during quarantine, we moved. Instead of living in one house, now we live as neighbors who share a backyard. Family is the backbone of any society, and living in a joint family can provide a strong sense of community, support, and security. We talked to my dad, who grew up in a joint family, and he shared with us his thoughts on the importance of family.
My main reason of having a joint family was that I want to teach my kids how to take care of elders and grandparents and parents. So they see how I take care of my parents in the house as they are there every day. That's how my son and my daughter learn that one day when I grow old, that's how they will take care of me and my wife, and how we should take care of each other. And this also um, provides a much more joyous and happy life together.
Living in a joint family can also come with its own set of challenges. For some, the lack of personal space and privacy can be overwhelming. For others, navigating the different personalities and expectations of family members can be difficult. We talked to my mom, who also grew up in the joint family with me, and she shared with us the challenges she faced.
Having a joint family is a blessing, in my opinion, to raise the kids. Kids always have their grandparents at home or their uncle and auntie. Of course, there are some issues of personality conflicts, but I think those are small if I compare with the benefit what we have having everybody together under one roof and having each other at the time of good and bad.
Despite the challenges, living in a joint family can also bring a lot of joy and happiness. The sense of togetherness and shared experiences can create lasting memories and deep bonds between family members. We talked to my sister, who grew up in my joint family, and she shared with us her thoughts on the joy of togetherness.
In our joint family, Almost every single month has at least one birthday. And when the birthday's happening, even on small scale birthdays, even on weekdays when we just cut a cake, there are at least 12 to 15 people there because our close family is so large that we always have someone there for us and you always feel the love.
Living in a joint family can be both challenging and rewarding. It requires patience, compromise, and a willingness to understand and respect different perspectives. But ultimately, it can provide a deep sense of connection, support, and love that can last a lifetime. Thank you for listening to this podcast.